Time, the silent current that carries us from one moment to the next, is both friend and foe to every student who dreams of achieving more in life. Though we each wake to the same 24 hours, how we choose to spend those precious minutes can be the difference between regret and fulfillment, missed opportunities, and realized dreams. Let us travel through the life of Arjun, a student standing at the crossroads between purpose and distraction, who learns, often the hard way, that time lost is never truly regained. From the outside, Arjun looked like any other student in his first year of college. Bright-eyed, bursting with potential, he had just stepped onto campus, wide open to the world and its possibilities. His parents had invested their faith and hard-earned resources into his education, hoping it would be the bridge to a better future. The first days were filled with energy and ambition. Arjun made mental lists of things he wanted to do: join clubs, maintain top grades, maybe even pick up a new skill or two. Everything seemed possible, but soon, the endless invitations to hang out, the siren call of social media, and the comfort of procrastination began to blur the lines between intention and action. "I'll study later," he told himself, again and again, as he scrolled through videos or binged the next episode of his favorite series. Each time he hit next, time slipped away unnoticed. Assignments began piling up. The deadlines on his wall calendar seemed distant, until they didn't. On the night before his first major exam, Arjun found himself staring anxiously at the mountain of notes he'd meant to review. Panic replaced procrastination. He crammed through the night, exhaustion setting in with the sunrise. The results mirrored his effort: mediocre grades, empty promises to do better next time. Yet the cycle repeated. Arjun convinced himself he worked better under pressure. He envied his peers who seemed to balance their work and play so effortlessly. They must be smarter, he thought, not realizing that their secret was not intelligence, but intention. One afternoon, after yet another sleepless night, Arjun sat alone in the crowded library, eyes burning and head heavy. As he watched others laser-focused on their tasks, he wondered what he was missing. That's when Professor Rao, his mentor, paused by his table. Professor Rao was known for his remarkable ability to remember names, anecdotes, and even the smallest details about his students. "Arjun," he began gently, "do you know the story of the traveler and the 3 stonemasons?" Arjun shook his head. There was a traveler who saw 3 men building a cathedral. He asked the first man what he was doing, and the man responded, "I'm laying bricks." He asked the second, and the man said, "I'm building a wall." The third man looked up and smiled. "I'm building a cathedral that will stand for generations." The work was the same, but the spirit was different. Each saw only as far as his vision allowed. Professor Rao let the words linger. "How do you see your days, Arjun? Are you just passing the time? Or are you building something greater with it?" That conversation ignited something in Arjun. He realized he had been moving through life without vision. Time had seemed an endless resource, but it was, in truth, slipping through his fingers. Determined to change, Arjun took an honest look at how he was spending his time. Armed with a notebook, he tracked his hours for a week. The numbers shocked him. Over 20 hours spent on social media, nearly as much on television and aimless browsing. Productive study? Less than 10 hours, scattered and often interrupted. He felt a mix of guilt and resolve. But Arjun remembered Professor Rao's story. He decided, then and there, to start small, to make each day the building block for something greater. He wrote clear, attainable goals each morning, no longer content with vague promises. He switched his phone to silent during his study hours, designated specific times for breaks and recreation. It was awkward at first, and the itch to slip back into old habits nipped at his resolve. But Arjun persevered, reminding himself he was laying the foundation for his own cathedral. Slowly, a transformation took place. He became more present in his classes, more engaged with his assignments. Instead of reacting to stress and deadlines, he anticipated them. He still enjoyed time with friends and his favorite shows, but now those moments were earned, not stolen. As weeks turned to months, Arjun's grades improved. But more importantly, so did his confidence and clarity. He found time to join a debate club, something he'd always wanted to try but had put off, believing he was too busy. He volunteered for a college festival and discovered new friendships that inspired and uplifted him. Each day felt more meaningful. Looking back, it struck Arjun how little willpower it took once he had purpose, a simple vision for his future. He didn't just want to pass, he wanted to excel, to discover his potential, to make his family proud. Time, he realized, wasn't his enemy. It was his ally, provided he used it wisely. Then came the final exams, challenges he once faced with dread. This time, he was prepared. He revised regularly, asked for help when needed, and managed his stress with walks and short breaks. Exam day no longer felt like a torture, but the culmination of steady effort. When the results arrived, Arjun's name appeared at the top of the list. Tears stung his eyes, not just from satisfaction, but from pride in overcoming his old habits. His parents' joy was overwhelming, their faith and sacrifices rewarded. That summer, Arjun reflected on his journey and decided to help others who might still be where he once stood, stuck in a loop of procrastination and regret. He started a small group to coach his juniors on time management, sharing not only techniques but his own story. It resonated deeply. He found that almost every student struggles with distraction, anxiety, and the feeling that there's never enough time. He demonstrated how to set goals, avoid multitasking, and build simple routines. The students responded, grateful for his honesty and practical advice. Arjun realized that the true value of learning to use his time wisely wasn't just personal success, but the ability to inspire and help others find their way too. With each passing year, Arjun's choices compounded, a testament to the idea that time, when invested rather than spent, grows in value. He achieved more than he ever thought possible, but most importantly, he never let another opportunity slip through his hands. His story is not unique. It is the story of every student who stands at the same crossroads, faced with excuses and distractions on one side and discipline and vision on the other. It is the story of potential unlocked, of dreams coming to fruition, not by chance, but by choice. The choice to respect, value, and make the most of every moment. At the heart of Arjun's transformation were a few simple truths. First, time is an irreplaceable asset. Unlike money or possessions, it can't be stored for later or regained once it is gone. Every minute, spent or wasted, is a brick in the foundation of your future. Second, every great achievement is the product of many small, consistent actions. It isn't the grand gesture or the occasional burst of effort that leads to success, but the quiet, repeated choices made day after day. Third, distraction is easy, but fulfillment is earned. The world offers 1,000 temptations, from endless scrolling to comfortable laziness, but none of them bring the satisfaction that comes from building something meaningful. Fourth, balance is not about denying yourself pleasure, but about earning and enjoying it in the right measure. Time spent on hobbies, friends, and rest is just as important as hard work, provided you're not sacrificing one for the other. Fifth, and perhaps most important, you are capable of change. No matter how you've spent your time in the past, the next minute is always a fresh start. The only person standing between you and your goals is the one looking back from the mirror, armed with intention, discipline, and a vision for their life. Consider for a moment the stories of other students Arjun met along his journey. There was Priya, who always felt overwhelmed and could never say no to a new club or activity, stretching herself so thin that she never truly excelled at any of them. She too learned that prioritizing, learning to say not now to some things, gave her the focus to shine in her passion for art. Her paintings, once hurried and rough, blossomed into works chosen for college exhibitions. Then there was Rishi, who dreamed of being a coder, but spent most nights gaming. With Arjun's encouragement, Rishi began treating his time as an investment. He carved out an hour a day for programming. Within a semester, he built a simple but successful app. The accomplishment was addictive. He realized that the rush of achievement lasted much longer than any game win. Time management, Arjun saw, was not a uniform formula, but a personal journey for each individual. What mattered most was honesty with oneself, a willingness to admit when time was being wasted, and the courage to step toward change. You, too, have a cathedral to build. Whether your vision is a career, a talent, a better self, or simply a life filled with joy and excellence, each day is a new opportunity to lay its foundation. Start with small changes. Make a simple plan for your day. Resist the urge to multitask. Focus on one thing at a time. Set aside dedicated time for both study and recreation, and stick to it. Keep a journal, marking your progress, your victories, and the lessons from your setbacks. Reflect at day's end, not with harsh judgment, but with a gentle promise to do better tomorrow. Remember, there will always be setbacks. No one overcomes distraction or delay in a single leap. Time management is a habit, built as bricks are laid, one after another, with patience and resolve. Celebrate progress, however small. Draw inspiration from the stories of others, but above all, write your own. The pages ahead are blank, waiting for the choices you will write upon them, the hours you will invest, the dreams you will chase. When you finally stand at the summit, be it a graduation stage, the first day of your dream job, or simply the confidence of having overcome your old self, you'll look back, not with regret for time wasted, but with gratitude for time invested. The difference between those who achieve and those who merely wish is seldom talent, but stewardship of time. You don't need to be the smartest, fastest, or most privileged. You simply need to start, to choose not to waste your minutes, to recognize that each second is a seed. Plant them wisely, and the tree of your efforts will yield fruit far beyond what dreams alone could ever offer. The journey begins now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. The clock is ticking, not to threaten or haunt you, but to remind you that opportunity is always present for those who claim it. So, when you find yourself tempted to waste another hour or surrender to procrastination, remember Arjun's story, and the stories of all those who turned minutes into momentum. Ask yourself not just what you are doing, but what you are building. Look beyond the moment and see the cathedral you could be creating, brick by intentional brick. Talent is wasted without effort. Opportunity is squandered without action. Time is lost without intention. The difference between regret and pride is often just a single decision, to make the most of your time, starting right now. Your time is your story. Make it one worth telling.